Whew, what is up? Elijah Campbell here from 107.5 The Game, live from the scene of the crime. No Jack Veltri right now because, quite frankly, it's 2:30 in the morning. We had that 2-hour rain delay, or not rain delay, a lightning delay to start the game as South Carolina opens up their season here at home in beautiful Williams-Brice Stadium against South Carolina State. A 38-10 win, but one that didn't start until well after 9 o'clock. Weird football game. If we're giving out grades, offense, gotta give them like a D. I think that's one of the big takeaways is before you have to play Vanderbilt next week, a team that just mauled Virginia Tech in the second half, you're gonna have to be able to score some points. And the offense looked really dysfunctional through the first 2 quarters of play. But the saving grace of the game, the defense, which you'd give another A+ to, the starting unit didn't give up another touchdown. And then special teams, because Vakari Swain made some magic twice in this game. Did he return a punt into this end zone? I think really the clever thing, if we want to break down those punt return touchdowns, the second one specifically, he mentioned after the game that the reason he picked the punt up, because I'm sure, like me, all of you at home watching or here in the stands was saying, no, don't grab that punt. But he grabbed it because they blocked the kick. Carolina did. David Busey blocked the kick, and Vakari said he saw somebody from South Carolina State touch it. When the other team touches the ball after you block the kick, it's no consequence after that, meaning it's illegal touching that South Carolina State touched the ball. So if he picked it up and fumbles, it's not going to matter. It's going to be negated because of an illegal touching by the kicking team. So he knew he basically had a free play. He treated that punt as a free play. So really, heads up play by Vakari if South Carolina State was to have touched it. I didn't see them touch it on the replay, but that's a pretty heads up play. But man, this is a guy, Vakari Swain, in 2 games has 3 punt return touchdowns. The single season record at South Carolina for punt return touchdowns in a year is 3. And Vakari Swain tied that record for punt return touchdowns in a year in a grand total of 6 quarters of football. A pretty remarkable stat. He is definitely the bright spot of the night, definitely the player of the game. The guy makes magic happen when the ball is in his hands in a punt return scenario. One of the more electrifying players in the country right now, especially when it comes to returning kicks and punts and being a total game changer on special teams. That was the bright side. You also had a scoop and score. Jaron Willis was able to scoop up a fumble caused by Brian Thomas Jr., who had a fantastic night. That's going to go undetected just because of how great Vakari was. But Brian Thomas Jr. and the edge rushers had a phenomenal night. Brian Thomas Jr. forces a fumble. Jaron Willis is Johnny on the spot. He picks the ball up. He runs it back for a touchdown. The defense and special teams accounted for 3 touchdowns tonight. And while 38-10 looks acceptable on paper, especially when it was 38-3, South Carolina State scored late against Carolina, the Gamecocks rather, their second and third string defensive players. So it doesn't look as bad as it was at one point in the game. One point it was a 35-point game, but offensively there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. Too many false start penalties. Too many times you're starting in your own territory. And when the offense, we've seen in 2 games now that when you get backed up in your own territory to start a possession, things get a little hairy. That's when things go backwards. The offensive line still wasn't very good. You didn't get enough push at the line of scrimmage against an FCS opponent to feel really good about getting push against SEC opponents. Lenoris had some time to throw in that second half especially. The pass protection was better in that regard, but overall it's still not acceptable. And overall where the offense is right now, still not acceptable. You got to be able to run block a lot better because the defensive fronts you're going to start facing here in the next few weeks going to get significantly better. So the offense is still very much so a work in progress. Hard to take a lot from an FCS game when you're an SEC team, but at the same time, I think we know the defense, still pretty damn good. Vakari Swain returning punts, still pretty damn good. Offense, look, we had the same conversation last year, right? It was bad against Old Dominion. it wasn't great the entire game against Kentucky, but you hit on some explosives to make that thing look a lot better than maybe what it was. And then you had the debacle against Ole Miss. It took a while for the offense to really figure it out. I'm not giving up on the offense. I'm not giving up on the offensive line, but I think it's definitely safe to say there's a lot of room for improvement, a lot to be desired from that unit. Again, final score, South Carolina 38, South Carolina State 10. The Gamecocks are 2-0, and this time next week, they'll be taking on Vanderbilt, and I'll talk to you then. Of course, tune in Monday morning starting at 6 a.m. Myself, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen on the early game, giving you all of our thoughts from tonight's action, all the way up through on 107.5 The Game, all the way up to from the early show at 6 to 9, all the way up until Jay Phillips and Terry Ford from 3 to 6, 6A to 6P. All of your reaction, 803-404-62100. Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line or the AAA Heating and Air phone lines. Give us your reaction and your thoughts on tonight's game, or comment on this video below. Give us your thoughts. Again, South Carolina 2-0, a lot to improve on offense, still really good on defense, and Vicari Swain is a bad dude. We'll talk to you Monday morning.